The Galactic Expeditionary Fleet had conquered 23 inhabited worlds. Each victory followed the same pattern. Study the planet. Identify the resources. Remove resistance. It had worked every time. Earth looked no different. The blue planet rotated quietly beneath the massive alien fleet. Clouds drifted slowly across continents filled with scattered human cities. From orbit, the world looked peaceful, fragile even. But what interested the High Command most was not the land. It was the water. 71% of Earth's surface was covered by oceans. To the alien strategists, that meant only one thing: a nearly untouched resource field. Deep-sea minerals. Thermal vents. Biological compounds. Energy reserves hidden beneath kilometers of water. Earth's oceans represented more wealth than most entire star systems. And according to their scans, humanity barely controlled them. Admiral Marcus Hale of Earth's Defense Command had once said something during an early diplomatic briefing. Humans know more about the surface of Mars than the deepest parts of our oceans. The aliens took that as weakness. If humans did not control their oceans, then the oceans could be taken. Admiral Corin Valeth, commander of the Galactic Expeditionary Fleet, stood on the command bridge of the flagship Vraxis Dominator. The vast observation window showed Earth hanging below like a glowing marble of blue and white. His tactical officer spoke. "Planetary scan complete, Admiral." Valeth folded his four-jointed hands behind his back. "Report." The majority of human military forces are land-based. Naval presence exists but is limited relative to ocean coverage. Meaning? Minimal resistance if we seize the oceans first. Valeth allowed himself a slow smile. Perfect. He activated the fleet-wide command channel. Begin Phase 1. Across orbit, hundreds of alien vessels moved into position. Massive harvesting platforms detached from their carriers, descending through Earth's atmosphere like burning meteors. Their targets were the largest oceans on the planet. The Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian Ocean. Within minutes, colossal machines slammed into the water and began sinking toward the depths. Each platform was the size of a small city. Drills extended from their undersides, designed to pierce kilometers into the seabed. Energy collectors activated. Mining lasers warmed. From orbit, the operation looked flawless. Then Earth responded. Human communication networks erupted with emergency signals. Protests. Warnings. Military alerts. Finally, a direct transmission reached the alien flagship. Admiral Valeth gestured for it to be displayed. The holographic screen flickered to life. A human officer appeared. Gray-haired. Calm. His uniform displayed the insignia of the United Earth Naval Command. Valeth leaned forward slightly. "State your message, human." The officer didn't shout. He didn't threaten. He simply looked tired. "You should remove your machines from our oceans." Several alien officers laughed quietly on the bridge. Valeth tilted his head. "Or what?" The human hesitated. For just a moment. Then he answered. "Because we don't fully control what lives down there." The bridge erupted in open laughter. Primitive superstition. Every developing species once believed monsters lurked in their oceans. Valeth dismissed the transmission with a flick of his claw. "Continue operations." The human's final words barely reached the bridge speakers before the channel closed. "You really should leave." Hours later, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, beyond sunlight, beyond human submarines, in the silent black trenches of Earth, something enormous opened its eyes. 2 hours after the alien harvesting platforms began drilling into the Pacific seabed, Platform 7 went silent. At first, the loss barely registered. Minor signal disruptions happened frequently during deep-sea operations. Pressure distortions, mineral interference, or mechanical faults could easily disrupt communication. But when the tactical officer ran a diagnostic scan, something unusual appeared. "Admiral, we've lost all telemetry from Platform 7. Admiral Corin Valeth didn't look concerned. "Signal interference." "Negative." "Mechanical failure." No distress signal was transmitted. Valeth frowned slightly. "Show me." The central holographic display expanded, revealing the Pacific Ocean. A grid of glowing icons represented the alien mining platforms spread across thousands of kilometers of water. 6 platforms glowed green. 1 blinked dark. Gone. Valeth turned toward the sensor officer. Deploy submersible drones. Immediately, Admiral. From the nearby escort carrier, 3 sleek reconnaissance drones plunged into the ocean. Their reinforced shells were designed to withstand crushing depths that would collapse most alien technology. They descended rapidly. Sunlight faded within minutes. Blue water turned dark. Then black. The drones activated powerful floodlights as they continued dropping toward the seabed nearly 5 kilometers below the surface. For a moment, everything looked normal. A barren landscape of sediment and hydrothermal vents stretched across the ocean floor. Then the first drone's camera turned toward the mining site. And the operators froze. Platform 7 was gone. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Gone. In its place sat a massive crater in the seabed, as if something had ripped the platform free and dragged it away. Valeth leaned closer to the display. What caused that? The sensor officer shook his head slowly. Unknown. Then the drone lights caught something moving. A shadow. Large. Too large. The camera struggled to adjust as the shape drifted along the edge of the floodlight beam. For a brief second, the drone illuminated part of it. Something curved. White. Jagged. The bridge officer whispered quietly. Are those teeth? Before anyone could answer, the drone feed erupted in static. Signal lost. Seconds later the second drone vanished. Then the third. Silence filled the command bridge. Valeth straightened slowly. Explain. No one could. Then another alert flashed across the tactical display. Platform 11. Offline. Another vanished. Then Platform 3. Then something worse. One of the escort destroyers guarding the mining platforms suddenly disappeared from sensors. An entire warship. Gone. Valeth's patience evaporated. Open communication channels with the humans. The same naval officer appeared on the screen again. The gray-haired man looked exactly as calm as before. Alien fleet, he said quietly. You need to stop your operations. Valeth's voice was cold. You are responsible for this sabotage. The officer shook his head. No. Then explain what is happening. The human paused. And for the first time, there was genuine concern in his eyes. You're drilling into the deep trenches of our oceans. Valeth narrowed his eyes. And? The officer answered slowly. Those areas are restricted for a reason. Valeth leaned closer. You expect us to believe your planet contains predators capable of destroying interstellar warships. The human didn't laugh. He didn't argue. He simply said something that unsettled everyone on the alien bridge. We don't know what they are capable of. Valeth ended the transmission immediately. Deploy depth charges, he ordered. If something lives down there, we remove it. Moments later, thousands of explosive charges rained into the ocean. The detonations shook entire sections of the Pacific. From orbit, the ocean surface churned violently. Valeth watched the sensors. Waiting. Then the tactical officer spoke again. His voice was suddenly tight. Admiral. Valeth didn't look away from the display. What is it? The officer swallowed. Something is moving. The sensor map began to fill with contacts. Not one. Not two. Hundreds. And they were rising. From the deepest parts of Earth's oceans. Something enormous had just woken up. The sensor display on the bridge of the Vraxis Dominator filled with red markers. At first, the alien crew assumed the system was malfunctioning. The contacts kept multiplying. Dozens. Then hundreds. Each signal rose slowly from the deepest trenches of Earth's oceans. Admiral Corin Valeth stared at the tactical screen. Identify them. The sensor officer worked frantically. Scanning, scanning. The results appeared. The officer froze. Admiral, these are not ships. Valeth turned sharply. Then what are they? The officer hesitated before answering. Biological, mostly. A murmur spread across the bridge. Biological life forms capable of reaching the depths where alien mining platforms operated were rare, but not impossible. But something about the readings didn't make sense. Size estimates? Valeth demanded. The officer's voice became uneasy. The smallest contact measures approximately 200 meters. Silence. And the largest? The officer zoomed the map outward. One signal dwarfed the others. Even on the large tactical display it stretched across kilometers. Approximately 2 kilometers long. No one on the bridge laughed this time. Another officer spoke nervously. That must be a sensor distortion. But before anyone could confirm it, a transmission request appeared again. Human origin. Valeth allowed it reluctantly. The same gray-haired naval officer appeared on the screen. Behind him, several human commanders stood around a holographic display of Earth's oceans. Valeth spoke first. You claimed humans did not control your oceans. That's correct. Then explain the hundreds of massive life forms approaching our fleet. The human folded his arms. For most of our history, we didn't even know they existed. The alien officers exchanged confused looks. The human continued. The first confirmed sighting happened about a century ago during deep-sea exploration. Images appeared on the human display behind him. Old submarine footage. Dark water. A gigantic shadow moving beyond the lights. At first we thought they were myths, the officer said. Ancient sea monsters. Legends from sailors. Valeth scoffed. Primitive folklore. That's what we thought too. The human leaned closer to the camera. Until we started losing submarines. The bridge fell quiet. Several deep-sea expeditions vanished without explanation, the human continued. When we finally captured clear footage, we realized something. More images appeared. Enormous shapes gliding through the darkness. Creatures larger than anything on Earth's surface. Some resembled colossal serpents. Others looked like armored leviathans covered in glowing patterns. And some didn't look biological at all. Their bodies contained structures that resembled metallic plates or unknown crystalline formations. Valeth narrowed his eyes. You're claiming these creatures have existed on your world for millions of years. The human nodded. We call them leviathans. Why were they not discovered sooner? Because they live deeper than almost anything humans could reach. And they avoid most of our activity. Valeth gestured impatiently. Then why are they attacking our fleet? The human's expression hardened. Because you dropped thousands of explosive charges directly into their territory. For the first time, uncertainty crept across the alien bridge. The human continued calmly. Humans learned something important when we discovered them. Valeth crossed his arms. And that was... You don't conquer everything on a planet. The officer's voice lowered. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is leave it alone. At that exact moment, alarms erupted across the alien flagship. The tactical officer shouted, "Admiral, one of the contacts has reached the surface." The sensor display zoomed in on a Pacific location. A massive alien destroyer hovered above the water. Then the ocean beneath it bulged upward. The water split open. And something enormous burst through the surface. For a single terrifying moment, the alien crew saw the creature clearly. A gigantic armored body. A mouth filled with teeth the size of transport ships. Then the destroyer disappeared. Gone in one bite. The human officer on the screen spoke quietly. "We warned you." Panic spread across the bridge of the Vraxis Dominator. The tactical display showed chaos erupting across the Pacific Ocean. Red alert markers flashed everywhere as alien ships attempted to reposition away from the surface. "Status report," Admiral Corin Valeth demanded. The sensor officer spoke rapidly. "We've lost destroyer Karus, mining platform 3, platform 11, and 2 escort vessels." The admiral clenched his claws. "How is that possible?" Before anyone could answer, another alert blared. "Surface contact approaching Carrier 9. The holographic display zoomed toward the location. From orbit, the ocean suddenly bulged upward again. The alien carrier attempted to rise into higher atmosphere. It never made it. Something massive exploded out of the water beneath it. A colossal creature, its body covered in thick armored plates that glowed faintly blue, wrapped around the ship like a serpent crushing prey. The carrier's engines roared. Energy cannons fired point-blank into the creature's body. The beams barely slowed it. Within seconds the ship was dragged screaming into the ocean. Then it vanished beneath the waves. The alien bridge went silent. One officer whispered, barely able to speak. "These creatures, they are hunting us." Valeth slammed a claw against the command console. "Then we eliminate them." He turned to the weapons officer. "Orbital bombardment. Target the ocean zones with the highest activity." "Yes, Admiral." Moments later, the fleet's heaviest weapons fired. Massive beams of plasma lanced downward from orbit, striking the ocean surface. Entire sections of water boiled instantly. Gigantic pillars of steam rose kilometers into the sky. For a moment, the alien fleet believed the problem was solved. Then the sensors screamed again. "Admiral, more contacts." The display expanded. The deep ocean trenches were still erupting with movement. Hundreds of leviathans continued rising. Some moved slowly, like ancient giants awakening from long sleep. Others moved with terrifying speed. One contact shot upward through the water faster than an alien interceptor. Before the fleet could react, it slammed into an orbiting frigate. The collision shattered the ship instantly. Another creature surfaced near a cluster of mining platforms. It had massive wing-like fins that spread across the ocean surface like living islands. When it dove again, the water above it twisted into a violent whirlpool. 3 alien ships were dragged into the vortex. None escaped. Across the fleet, panic transmissions began spreading. "This is Cruiser Valdrin. We are under attack. Multiple biological contacts approaching. They are targeting the engines. They are everywhere." Admiral Valeth stared at the screen in disbelief. "Why are they attacking our ship specifically?" The sensor officer ran a rapid analysis. A moment later his voice shook. "They are targeting the loudest systems." Valeth turned sharply. "Explain." "The Leviathans appear to be reacting to vibration and energy output." The officer pointed to the map. "Mining drills, reactor cores, weapon systems, engine thrusters. Everything that disturbed the ocean. Everything the alien fleet was using." Meanwhile, human naval forces watched from a safe distance. Submarines remained silent. Their engines barely moving. Their sonar signals soft and controlled. Because humanity already understood the rule. Don't wake the ocean. By the 6th hour of the battle, half of the invasion fleet had been destroyed. Not by human weapons. Not by Earth's defenses. But by the ancient guardians of the planet's depths. Admiral Valeth finally spoke the words no alien commander had ever said before. "Order a full retreat." Because for the first time in the history of the Galactic Expeditionary Fleet, they weren't fighting a civilization. They were fighting an entire world. The order spread across the surviving ships of the Galactic Expeditionary Fleet. Retreat. For a fleet that had conquered dozens of star systems, the command felt almost unreal. But the tactical display left no room for doubt. More Leviathans were still rising. Their massive signals continued moving through the oceans below, ancient shapes gliding through darkness older than human civilization. Admiral Corin Valeth stood silently on the bridge of the Vraxis Dominator as the remaining alien vessels pulled away from Earth's orbit. Behind them, the Pacific Ocean slowly calmed. The water settled. The violent waves faded. One by one, the Leviathan signals began descending again. Back into the trenches. Back into the silent darkness where they had slept for millions of years. Valeth watched the final sensor reading disappear. Then the human transmission arrived again. The same gray-haired naval officer appeared on the holographic screen. But this time, the alien bridge was completely silent. No one laughed. No one mocked. Valeth spoke first. "You knew this would happen." The human shook his head. "No. Then why warn us?" "Because we've learned something about our planet." Valeth narrowed his eyes. "And what is that?" The officer looked briefly toward the ocean behind him on the command display. Then he answered. Earth isn't just a world we live on. It's an ecosystem we share. Valitha's voice hardened. You allowed creatures capable of destroying fleets to exist in your oceans. The human shrugged slightly. We didn't allow it. They were here long before we were. Another alien officer interrupted. Why don't they attack your ships? The human smiled faintly. Because humans learned something very early. Valeth leaned closer to the screen. And that is, you don't conquer everything. Sometimes you survive by respecting it. The transmission ended. For a long moment, no one spoke on the alien bridge. Finally Valeth turned to his tactical officer. Set course for the Council worlds. Yes, Admiral. Weeks later, inside the vast chamber of the Galactic Council, the surviving fleet commanders delivered their report. The Council members listened in disbelief. Your fleet was defeated by wildlife. Valitha's voice remained calm. They are not wildlife. The Council murmured nervously. Then what are they? Valeth paused before answering. Guardians. He activated the final recording from the battle. The Council chamber darkened as the holographic image appeared. The ocean surface. An alien destroyer hovering above the water. Then the sea split open. The massive Leviathan rose like a living mountain before swallowing the ship whole. Gasps echoed across the chamber. Valeth shut down the projection. The humans warned us. Why didn't you listen? One counselor asked quietly. Valeth looked around the chamber. At dozens of species that had once considered Earth an easy target. His answer was simple. Because we thought humans were the most dangerous thing on that planet. He paused. Then added the truth the entire galaxy needed to hear. We were wrong. Across the galaxy, a new advisory began circulating among military strategists. A simple rule added to thousands of star charts. Avoid Earth. Not because of human weapons. Not because of human fleets. But because on one quiet blue planet, humanity had learned to live alongside something far older. And far more powerful. Deep in the silent trenches of Earth's oceans, ancient eyes closed once again. And the Leviathans returned to sleep. Waiting. Just in case anyone in the galaxy ever forgot the lesson again. Water wave.